What up with it? What up? What up? Happy Sunday. Am I coming through the speakers loud and clear or just clear? It ain't got to be loud. You know what I'm saying? Who wants to be loud on a Sunday? That's not that's not even, you know what I mean, copacetic. It's the Lord's Day. So hopefully everybody can hear me. This is the first time I'm streaming straight from like my main PC. Usually I had a stream PC, which I don't have anymore. I actually sold my PC, and now I'm running with a Mac as a secondary a PC as a secondary computer, and that's for editing and shit like that exclusively. So I don't even mess with the Mac like that. Not even really into Macs like that. But this is the first time I'm actually streaming from this PC. So how's everything look? Is it looking clean? Is it That's true. That's true. Yeah, Bob, I got one of those new Mac Minis that just came out. The M2 Mac Minis. Strictly for editing. Effects. It's just easier to do effects with Final Cut. It's way easier. You know what I mean? It's like really drag and drop sometimes. Kind of tough. Kind of tough on Resolve. You know that what's it called? The Fusion page. Yeah, I'm lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? Editing wise, color grading, I got it on DaVinci. But effects and people asking for a lot of different stuff now, like a lot of stuff, man. You know, tracking. You could do all of this stuff on DaVinci also. So before anybody jump in here, like you could do all of that. Yeah, I know, but it's hard. It's difficult. And when you got clients and they want the shit now, the easier the better. Final Cut is where it's at. So there's a lot of plugins too. A lot of plugins for Final Cut, man. I didn't mean to start this conversation off with a bunch of filmmaking nerd stuff. But this channel is going to have a lot of filmmaking nerd stuff on it. So if you, I mean, bro, this started off as a gaming channel. We were talking about nerd shit for years. We're still talking about nerd shit. And we will continue to talk about nerd shit for the foreseeable future. But it's just filmmaking stuff. So we're going to talk about John Wick Chapter 4. That's what we're going to talk about. It's not going to be a long stream. Very concise. Because to be honest with you, I don't really have that much to say about this movie. I have some things to say, but not a whole bunch. There's not a lot to unpack here. You know, John Wick shoots people. Part 4. There you have it. Stream over. Let's get out of here, guys. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Nah, I'm just okay. We can talk a little bit about some other stuff too. I know everybody talking about Jonathan Majors. So after I talk about John Wick Chapter 4, we could talk about Mr. Jonathan Majors and possibly some other movies and things that we're watching. I just watched the most recent episode of Snowfall. It broke my heart. It broke my heart and shattered. My heart's in pieces. I'm still trying to get the pieces and put it back together. Whew, that's a hell of a show. Watch some Swarm too. I watched that new Donald Glover directed or produced show. You know, everyone's talking about Chloe Bailey, and they should. They should be talking about Chloe Bailey. Shout out to Damson Idris, the one and only Franklin Saint. And he's doing this thing. But we're going to start off and talk about John Wick Chapter 4. So, did you see John Wick Chapter 4? I did, obviously, because you're watching this video. And I hope that I saw it, because I wouldn't want to get on here talking about a movie that I didn't see. But I saw it in IMAX yesterday with my wife. And for the most part, and this is just me being transparent, it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's actually a decent, well-made film. That's exactly what it is, to be honest with you. It's a decent, well-made film, and I think that the people that are creating these movies are action movie fans, as I am, probably even more so. Definitely even more so. For sure, even more so. But I think that we are now in territory, or the territory of being a little underwhelming, because we've seen a lot of this stuff before. So let's get into it. Let's get into talking about. I was going to wait till some more people in here. Maybe I will. Maybe I will do that. What's going on, Bob? What's happening, Bob? Final Cut is definitely legit. You should watch it. You should definitely watch it. Natalie, you said you was tired of PAX. That's the funny thing with conventions. With conventions, especially if you got the 4-day conventions, you're there for a whole day. You've probably seen just about everything that you want to see or need to see. That second day, maybe you hang out with some friends if you got friends there. After that, diminishing returns. Your feet's hurting. It's hot. You got some people that ain't quite discovered deodorants yet. It's tough. It's tough, man. I usually now go to any convention for 2 days, and I don't wear Jordans anymore at conventions because they make my feet bark. You want to wear something comfortable. New Balances, Brooks, stuff like that. If you're in the Skechers, they're comfortable shoes. But don't wear anything cute because it's going to tear your feet up. You hear me? So there's that. But yeah, it's just conventions after a minute, they get boring. I think a lot of people with the video game conventions were looking forward to like them revealing new games or announcing new games, and that's pretty much over. Like that doesn't happen anymore. So going to these conventions got to really be about friends and meeting up with friends. If it's not about that, then what is it about? Because you're not going to get any new information on any game. You maybe get to try a game that you didn't have before or something like that, but for the most part, ain't really shit to do after that second day, so. And I think what they are banking on is like, hey, people might not be able to get here Thursday and Friday, but then get here Saturday or Sunday. So it's 4 days. But Chips, shout out to Chips and Sticks, asked me if I was willing to go to PAX West. And I want to say that's in Seattle. And we'll see. Right now, I don't know, gaming conventions, it's not into it. So, yeah, flippers are free, right? But yeah, all right. So let's talk about John Wick, man. John Wick Chapter 4, the 4th movie in the John Wick franchise. To be honest with you, I'm a little tired of franchise shiz in general. I would like them to make some new franchises. That would be cool. When I really think about it, the last 3 movies that I saw in the theater, right? You follow me? Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, 3rd movie in the franchise, part of a larger franchise with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Then you have Creed 3. It's so many Rocky movies. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rocky Balboa. And then you have these 3 Creed movies. So that's 9 movies in the Rocky universe. 3 movies in the Creed universe. Then you have John Wick Chapter 4. I always hear people saying the reboots need to stop. Hollywood's losing its creativity. They're creatively bankrupt. And all I can say is all 3 of those movies made a lot of money. So my question to you is, who's tired of it? Who's really sick of sequels and franchises? I don't think anyone is. I don't think superhero fatigue is real. I don't think people are tired of franchises, because I just can't tell, because more franchises are getting sequels. They're bringing back old franchises. There's a new Transformers movie coming out people are excited about. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Come on, man. And when something new arrives, it doesn't get the same kind of attention or love. So what do the studios do? The studios go right back to what worked. Right back to it. Oh, if people like this, that's what we're going to do. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Every time I hear that, see that, I just think it's bullshit. No one's tired of franchises, reboots, or remakes, or sequels for that matter. They're not tired of it. And here we have John Wick Chapter 4. Now, I didn't think it was a bad movie. I didn't think it was a great movie. A part of me don't really think it's a good movie. It's kind of middling is the word that I'm feeling. But a lot of people like this movie. So I can say what I want. It's going to make a bunch of money. People are happy. It's got like a 90-something on Rotten Tomatoes. People are happy with the film. I didn't enjoy it. And really, I think my enjoyment or my lack of enjoyment stemmed from like one thing. One overarching thing in this movie pretty much killed the movie for me because I never want to watch this again. I don't think I wasted my time, but there's a part of me that never, ever wants to see this movie again. And it's not Keanu Reeves, even though the way he delivered his lines in this movie are just bad. They're bad. I'm sorry. Hey, guys, they're bad. He might have only had 5 lines, but he delivered them awful, like terrible, like reading off the paper. Yeah, it's complicated. That's how he said everything. I guess that's how he talks. Sound contrived to me. But then you have the action, which that's the draw. That's the draw of John Wick is action. It's gunfights. And there's plenty of gunfights. I'm talking about it's like gunfights on top of gunfights on top of gunfights. When you think the gunfight is over, nope, it's not over. It just keeps going and going and going. There's a part towards the end. This is not a spoiler, but there's a part towards the end where John Wick has to climb a very large amount of stairs, right? And he's just shooting people. Pow, pow. And they're fighting and they're rolling around. There's jujitsu and judo and all the stuff that you like out of John Wick. It's all there, right? Headshots and just all kinds of madness, right? And he gets to the top and he goes, whew. And then someone comes and kicks him all the way back down the entire flight of stairs. And that's exactly, that's like the allegory for the entire film. It just keeps going. It doesn't want to stop, right? And that's ultimately my problem. The one biggest drawback or fault of John Wick Chapter 4. It's too much. It's too long. Pause. It's just like a lot for nothing. We're going to get to the same exact place with just more filler in between because a lot of that stuff was filler. And I'm not talking about the moments where they actually are trying to tell a story. I'm talking about the actual action, the gunfights. A lot of that stuff is filler. It's just filling in time. Some of those fights could have ended. There's a part, and like I said, no spoilers narratively, but I'm going to tell you about some of these fight scenes. There's a fight in Tokyo, Osaka, right? And this is a beautiful set piece. I'm talking about, man, I want to say that this is probably the best set piece visually in a John Wick movie to me, right? Beautiful. You got Donnie Yen's character. I can't remember this character's name. His name is, hold on, I got the IMDb up. My man that played Scorpion. Hiroyuki Sanada, right? He was Shimazu. I thought that part was probably the best part of the film. That was the best part of the movie to me. That was the best part of the movie. I really enjoyed watching those two guys on screen throwing down in some like classic kung fu movie stuff. Like it was just classic action, beautiful, right? But there's a part where his daughter is fighting with John Wick, right? Who she's mad at for coming to their I can't remember what these places are called in John Wick. I'm sorry, I'm not like super, up on John Wick lore, but the places, the hotels. And she's like, why did you come here? You brought trouble with you and so forth. And of course he did bring trouble, and they got to shoot their way out of it, right? And she grabs these two knives and she's stabbing this big dude in his back for like what it felt like 5 minutes. It wasn't 5 minutes. It wasn't 5 minutes. It felt like 5 minutes. And she was just stabbing him and stabbing him and stabbing him and stabbing him. And I'm like, please stop this scene. just stabbing him continuously. Oh man, it was just, whew. It was rough, man. Oh, and it was a lot of scenes like that. It was a lot of scenes that just kept going and going and going and going, right? Towards the end, they have a gunfight inside of a building, like an abandoned, it's like abandoned mansion or something like that, abandoned church, something of that nature. And they flip the camera to become like isometric, and you're kind of peering through walls. So think like if you ever played Hotline Miami or any game like that, because that's what it felt like. It felt like playing one of those video games. And it looked cool. It looked cool. Thanks, Bob, the Continental. It looked cool. And then it ended, kind of, and went back to how they normally shoot, action scenes. But then it comes back again. And I'm like, come on. By that point, my wife was like, yo, this is giving me a headache. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's giving me a migraine, actually, right? Watching it from that angle. It was cool at first, but then, it just lasted way too long. And that's really my biggest gripe with John Wick Chapter 4. It's not even Keanu Reeves, because Keanu Reeves is being himself. And he's been doing that for forever, man, and everything, It's just who he is. So I didn't expect much more. And I think that as far as the action goes, he bought it as much as he can bring it, but I think he's just getting old. Like, he has this run now where it looks like, he doesn't have any hips. Like, he's just running with his knees locked, like he just, dismounted a horse or something like that. You feel what I'm saying? He just, right? And I don't know, man. I'm just getting long in the tooth, and I don't feel like he can deliver the type of action that genre demands. He's getting old, guys. The guy has to be like 60. He has to be 60. I'm 38 years old. This dude was making movies when I was in elementary school. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know how to read, and he was making movies. He was reading scripts. I didn't know how to read. He's got to be 60 years old. Can't expect a person his age to do this kind of choreography, to be honest with you. And I think, to preserve himself, he probably should take some more subtle parts. I seen Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer. He's an Oppenheimer, him and Matt Damon. Like, he needs to take some roles like that now, because I know he's considered like this action hero, but it didn't look that good to me when he was on screen doing his action, especially compared to Donnie Yen, his action scenes were amazing. Phenomenal. They didn't last long enough. He should have been on screen more, but this is John Wick, not IP Man. It's John Wick. So it's just, it just got long in the tooth. And this is my final, judgment on John Wick Chapter 4. The movie's 3 hours long. For nothing. For no reason. This story, this journey that we're on with John Wick, did not lead the last 3 hours. 3 hours of him just continuously shooting people. And that's probably the biggest drawback for me of John Wick Chapter 4. It was just too long. The runtime was 3 hours. I had to go to the bathroom. I had to. I was exhausted. I was exhausted, man. Like, I don't know, man. It just, it got boring. That's crazy to say. It did. It got boring. It got boring. There is good set pieces too. Like when they're in Paris, they have this set piece where cars are circling and they're trying not to get hit by the cars, but they're still shooting it out. That was cool. The isometric gunfight inside of the church or abandoned house, that was good also. And pretty much damn near everything they did in Osaka, Japan with Donnie Yen was good also. But there's a lot sandwiched in between that I didn't mention. Like there's a part where they're at like a card game, having a gunfight inside of a club, which is typical John Wick fare. And people are just partying and they're still going on and they're having this whole shootout around these people partying and they never stop partying. They just kept partying. This is fucking ridiculous. And even that scene had a portion in it where like John Wick's like just, you know, he just got thrown over a balcony or something like that. And he's standing there and I don't know if it's just like the motivation to get up or something, but they just kept going to a close-up of him. And he's like the music and I'm like, what's happening here? Is it something about to happen? Did something happen already that I missed? No, nothing happened. He just kind of walked away after that. And that's pretty much the gist of John Wick Chapter 4. It's more what you like of John Wick. Probably too much of it, though. For me, it was. And the movie's way too long. 3 hours of John Wick is just not... It's a no for me. John Wick should be an hour and a half. An hour and a half, fast-paced action. Because I really don't care about this narrative or the lore of the Continental or the High Table or any of that stuff, because that's just a reason for John Wick to shoot people and go from one set piece to another set piece. That's it. That's it. There's not much thought into this. There's not real character development for John Wick. He has the character development of a frog. Yeah. I understand. What did we need 3 hours of that for? We didn't. I think it was overindulgent from the creators. They just wanted to just cram everything they had into this movie. And I can't be mad at them from that, because as a filmmaker, you really don't want to leave much of your stuff on the cutting room floor. But a lot of this stuff could have been on the cutting room floor. And I think the movie would have been just as good without a lot of that stuff. And I'm talking about pieces, just cutting pieces off of the edit. I think it would have worked. But they put every shot in there. Speaking of shots, the cinematography is really good. It's a beautiful movie. Go see it in IMAX if you're going to go see it. And you know what? I wouldn't say don't go see it. Go see it. Go see the film. And it looks really good. It looks really good. It's a beautiful looking movie, you know. Very colorful, very bright. A lot of cool settings with different color tones. And just good cinematography. You know, they play with lighting a lot. You know, a lot of intentional lighting. Even though it's not really to tell the story, it's more for style and just to look cool and badass. And it works. It does all of those things. So if that's what they were going for, they did it. It worked. But ultimately, John Wick Chapter 4, for me, was just way too much movie. Way too much. And I didn't get... I wasn't satisfied ultimately at the end of it. I wasn't, because I thought a lot of it was contrived. It was stuff I saw already. I didn't think they tried anything new. It's more of the same, just a lot more of the same. And that's a no for me. So, John Wick Chapter 4. We can talk about some other stuff too. That's Chapter 2. Oh, what you guys saying? Let me talk to you guys for a minute. Because what I'm going to do is this live stream probably won't stay up live. I'll probably delete this, take portions of this, and make a smaller upload later on. It'll just be about John Wick, though. So this other stuff we keeping it amongst us. which is cool. Castellar Garcia, he said, get Keanu a lightsaber to be in Star Wars, a Marvel villain like Nightmare or character in the Highlander reboot. I don't know, man. I think he has to start doing stuff where he's not as active. You got to be pretty active to be in those films. Those are tough films to be in. People kept dancing. Yeah, right. They were just partying. They were just going in. And they were just shooting it out. I did think that character was funny, though. Like the big gangster. He kind of reminded me of the Penguin with the gold teeth. And he's talking and saying a lot of cool shit, too. A lot of the auxiliary people in the movie said cool shit. And I didn't even talk about, what's my man's name? His name is Bill Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård is the villain in this movie. And I didn't talk about him because I forgot about him. He's like a mustache twirling villain. Like it's nothing special about Bill Skarsgård. But there is a character played by, I can't find his brother's name. I can't find his name. But, okay, his name is Shamir Anderson, and he was just the tracker. I'm going to call him Nobody, because that's who he introduced himself as. Nobody, right? And for real, y'all. That's exactly what it was in this movie. Nobody. I don't know why he was in this movie. I didn't know what his purpose was. I didn't. And by the end of it, I was just like, okay. You know, he had a dog. He had like this cool shotgun. And, he made the dog bite people in the nuts. But why? Why was he in this movie? What? Nobody. Because that's exactly what he was. Nobody. Shout out to Donnie Yen, though. Donnie Yen cooked it, man. I really enjoyed his character. Oh, man. John Wick Chapter 4. That's how I felt watching it. Whew. Like exhausted. Like I just worked out or something. Whew. Glad that's over. You said the gun he had was pretty cool. It was, right? He was trying to save up money to buy something he had scribbled in his notebook, right? Okay. What does that mean, fanatic? Like, everyone else had a reason to be in the film. Everyone else actually had a purpose to be in the film. What was his purpose? What did he add? If you took him out the movie, would the movie have not been the same? I think it would have. And they probably should have. We probably should have had more Donnie Yen. You feel what I'm saying? Because I just didn't know what his purpose was. He had some cool moments, though. He made the dog bite people in the nuts quite often. Like 4 times. Okay. Yeah. Bill Skarsgård's character, French accent, was actually kind of annoying. Chariot, man, what's going on, man? Yeah, we're talking about the latest John Wick. We're not talking about John Wick Chapter 2. Listen, if you like action, go see it. It's 3 hours. A lot of action. It's action on top of action. On top of action. With even more action. It's action. Yeah, you just can't go wrong with Donnie Yen, man. He's just so good. Jeez, he's good. He is good. And I think he brought flavor to this movie that it desperately needed. Like, his style of fighting, the fact he was blind, and he was doing cool blind guy stuff. Like, that's the kind of shit that I need to see from Daredevil when Daredevil Born Again comes out, but I'm almost certain that won't happen. Yeah, I need to probably appreciate John Wick Chapter 4 for having action that I'm kind of into. In fact, I ain't gonna say kind of into. I'm absolutely into. Because Marvel's action, I'm not into. I think Marvel's action, like the actual fight scenes in these movies and films, are awful. The fight scenes in Black Widow are some of the worst fight scenes I've ever seen in my life in a movie. Like, they're terrible. There's just cut after cut after cut after cut. Cut. That's crazy. That's crazy. John Wick has continuous fight scenes, so they're choreographed well. Donnie Yen. No, I'm joking. I'm gonna keep bringing Donnie Yen up because Donnie Yen's the man. But yeah, like John Wick has way cooler action than any of that stuff. And Daredevil, the TV show on Netflix had amazing action. Amazing action. I'm pretty sure that this new show that Marvel's doing won't have amazing action. Marvel completely CGI now. The last great fight scene they had. Yeah, the Winter Soldier fight scenes was cool. I did think that the airport scene in Civil War was probably like the best sequence of action I enjoyed in those. I know people would like to bring up Infinity War or even Endgame. I like Civil War's airport scene more. But yeah, a lot of that stuff is CGI. In fact, I talked about Ant-Man and the Wasp on Twitch. All of this stuff is going to be on YouTube now. I'm done with Twitch. We're done. We're divorced. No more Twitch. Just YouTube. No Twitch. So the live streams, while they won't be up forever, this will be up for a few days. This is going to get cut up and made an upload. So if you want to watch the whole stream or watch it back or something like that, it'll be up here for a few days and then it's gone. But I'm looking forward to see what they do with Daredevil because I'm pretty sure they're going to mess it up. Almost certain. It can't get any better than those 3 seasons on Netflix. Like, no. And Marvel's like CGI is just, it's obnoxious now. It's like overkill. Like they do nothing in camera. Everything's green screened. And there's some of that in John Wick also. Like everything in John Wick is not, on location, but there's a lot of it that's on location. A lot of that stuff is they're at where they're at. And it looks cool. It looks really cool. And I'm talking about they got the doves and stuff behind. All of that stuff is in there, man. It's great. It's great when it comes to that. Listen, it's worth a watch again from my perspective as a cinematographer and a filmmaker because, man, you talking about delivering the cool. They were all in on delivering the cool from the lighting, the haze and the God rays and all of that stuff is in there, man. It's cool. Even the composition, I could go on and on and on, man. It's all that stuff is great. Like don't get it fucked up. I'm criticizing the film, but I know when shit is done well and when it's like that's done well. I just thought it was too much. John Wick Chapter 4 is just too much. And ultimately I got bored. I got bored of watching the same stuff over and over again. So, but anything else? Anything else you want to talk about? I know I was going to talk about Jonathan Majors getting arrested. And really, to be honest with you, what was it, yesterday morning or something like that? Yesterday morning he got arrested in New York for choking his girlfriend or a girl that he was seeing or dating. And, he's claiming that he's innocent, that none of those things were done. I like to play the wait and see game. One, I'm not a judge. I'm not judgmental of human beings because we all have things in our life to be judgmental of. And, if you're a believer, your judgment is going to come eventually. But for myself, I'm not one of them guys that want to take people's lives and dissect them and you did this wrong. No, because everyone's going to do something wrong, man. And a lot of people do scummy shit. They just do. So with this and with Jonathan Majors, I'm just going to wait and see what the law does. What's the law going to do? Because people are jumping out of their skin right now because of this, man. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy how fast. And that goes to show you if people really like you, right? People didn't really like Jonathan Majors all that much yet. Because all it took was an accusation for people to get crazy about it. You had to be judged in the court of law when it comes to stuff like this. They've already judged him in the court of public opinion. That quickly. Overnight. That's wild. Meanwhile, in other news, Ezra Miller was, kidnapping people, but The Flash is on its way. I watched the trailer in the theater in IMAX, and shit, I'm going to go see it. So, what does that say? Yeah. Warner Brothers. You know Warner Brothers. You know Warner Brothers. Warner Bros. Well, they fired a director while he was mourning the death of his child and replaced him. I didn't see anyone stop watching Warner Brothers movies. In fact, they wanted more Warner Brothers movies, more DC films. The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker. People. Can't be so quick to pass judgment. You shouldn't. It's not fair. It really isn't. And that can be done for literally everyone. Like everybody. So, all right. Anything else, man? Anything else you want to talk about? Because otherwise, I'm going to get in the wind, man. Been on for about 45 minutes. I'm going to start keeping these streams and these lives short. I like doing them live because, I get to free flow, talk to the good people, and then kind of take these conversations and bottle them up into one video, way shorter video. It's not a 45-minute video, probably like a 5-minute video, right? And have that out for people to watch probably later today, to be honest with you. I got a little meeting to go to in a little bit. So everybody that pulled up, this is what to expect going forward from goldlynxmedia, especially when it comes to films and movies. Next week, we have the season finale of Snowfall. I will be live to talk about that. I'll probably go live right after the premiere of it, right? Like, it comes on around 10 o'clock. Probably go live at 11. I want to talk about Swarm also. There's a lot of good stuff out there, man. There's a lot of good TV shows and films. We got Air coming up with Ben Affleck. And series fanatic Snowfall series finale. Oh man, I can't imagine. I'm watching Snowfall for so many years now to know that this is it. And listen, this season is treating it like it's all coming to a head, man. It's very tense. Very tense. And I'm looking forward to it. So I want to get on here and talk about that. Yeah, man, like, it's a lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff coming out. Now, I probably won't. You know what? I'm not even going to say that because you never know. You never say never. But I'm really not looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Like, not at all. I'm looking forward to seeing The Flash more than that movie. And that's crazy, right? That's wow. But The Flash looks way more interesting than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Like, to me, it does. So, like, Batista, you could tell Batista didn't even get in shape for that role. Like, he didn't work out of anything. Batista's usually hulking, like this big dude. Nah. He looks like he didn't want to be there like that. You're not looking forward to it. Not looking forward to much of anything Marvel's about to do. Like, nothing. The Marvel, I don't care about that shit, man. Anyway, yeah, so I'll be back for Snowfall, the series finale. Because I want to reminisce, man, about all the... Because Snowfall wasn't always good. Snowfall started out pretty shabby. And it got better as the seasons went along. So, I was just... Yeah, he looked like he was eating burritos and shit. Yeah, so I'll be back for that, man. I want to see if I can get the gang together, get some guys to come over here and talk some films with me. I know Maserati Ran made this is down. See if I hit Fanatic up, a couple other people, talk some movies, some films, some filmmaking, because that's ultimately what this channel is going to be about. So I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that pulled up. Hope everybody stays safe and well. For my Philadelphians and people that's out there in Philadelphia, we had like a spill, some kind of leak in the Schuylkill or something like that. So they're advising people not to drink water. Don't drink the water. Get some bottled water. Get you a gallon from the Walmart and try to hang in there. But for everybody else, man, hope everybody stay safe and stay good. Be good. Be happy. And we can do this all again next time. Y'all take it easy. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Peace.